Hey folks, you're OS and VTXReviews.com. You're watching our video review of the Toshiba Satellite C655 S5132 laptop with the Intel Celeron processor with 4GB of DDR3 RAM and a 250GB hard drive. The product here is definitely in Toshiba's kind of lower end of their spectrum of satellite laptops. So it's more aimed for perhaps students or for people looking for a budget-oriented laptop with decent specs and decent performance, but not anything too astounding. As such, it comes head-to-head with other products out there, like the HP G56 laptop, which also uses an Intel Celeron processor and also has a price tag of about $270. So it's pretty low cost and, again, pretty cost-friendly. Otherwise, again, performance isn't anything astounding, but it offers good build quality and generally good performance for web browsing, basic applications. As long as you're not playing back too many tasks, not playing back too many graphically intensive games, you still should be fine. Some other specs about this product: it has, again, 15.6-inch screen, so fairly standard in that department, but it's quite heavy, coming in about 10 pounds, which is definitely going to weigh a bit if you are going to take this with you on a day-to-day trip. Battery life, however, is very good. It will last you about 4 to 5 hours before you have to recharge it, which is on the longer side of the spectrum, especially for a Windows 7 Home Premium machine. And again, speed and processing is pretty good, and also has a built-in DVD-ROM for you to play back movies, DVDs, and also software. Taking a closer look at the design of the laptop in general, it's not just a pure black kind of black plastic in terms of the materials employed. If you look really closely, not really catching this on camera, but there's actually this kind of interesting design going on, which makes the product a little bit more visually appealing just to take a look at. The front of the device, as with most satellite products, has access to a SD card reader, which is kind of nice. Something I will say, though, is that the SD card reader doesn't take the card all the way in. Instead, it protrudes outwards a little bit from the tip here. So if you do want to use this reader, take care to not kind of bend your card if you're carrying your laptop with you. Otherwise, the left-hand side of the laptop itself has access to a VGA out port. You have access to a Ethernet port, 2 USB 2.0 ports, and also a 3.5mm headphone jack port and a microphone port, which are located extremely close to the side of the product. The right-hand edge of the unit itself houses the aforementioned DVD drive, and also has access to the regular Toshiba charger, which you can take with you. The product itself doesn't have an HDMI output, so if you want to use this product to watch HD television, unfortunately it's not going to be the greatest candidate for doing that. Otherwise, the product can open pretty well. It has a traditional Toshiba hinge, which is to say it's not the strongest, but it works pretty well as you might expect, and opens up like such with 2 hinges on each side of the laptop, like some other newer HP laptops and gateway laptops out there. So not anything too exciting, but kind of middle of the road in terms of that department. And you have access to a pretty traditional system as well, and Windows 7 Home Premium will load as you expect. And again, as far as boot times are considered, the product does a pretty good job of loading up. It does boot up for about under 2 minutes for sure. So it's not too fast, but also not too slow. Hibernation modes are pretty impressive, and the product will boot up very, very fast in under a few seconds after the product has already turned on, which we do like. And taking a look at the design overall, on the top here, we have a microphone, but unfortunately we do not have a front-facing camera for video conferencing, so you have to plug in your own webcam if you want to use Skype or anything like that. Otherwise, the product can again be opened up, and the hinge does a pretty good job of supporting the laptop's weight, and we have access on the bottom here to actually stereo the speakers on either end of the laptop, here and here. These speakers are pretty loud, but the problem with them is that they are kind of muffled, and the higher and lower pitches are a little bit unclear. So if you do plan on using this for watching videos on YouTube or perhaps browsing the web, the speakers, we would recommend you to use your own pair of headphones because they are not, terrific in terms of playing back content. Otherwise, a nice selling point for this laptop is on the right-hand corner. In addition to having a full QWERTY keyboard, there's also a dedicated numeric selection here for you to plug back numbers. So it's a great laptop to have if you want to use it for Excel, for editing some numbers, some spreadsheets, and the such. Also, we like the fact that the device has built-in lights for the caps lock keys and also for the number lock keys. So it's easier to see under darker environments despite not being backlit for the keyboard. The actual keyboard itself has a nice spacing, so it has a large size, and it takes advantage of the size of the computer in general. And overall, typing out messages is a pretty fast and responsive experience. The keys are well spaced, and we found ourselves typing without too many errors, which we do like. The spacebar is on the shorter side of the spectrum, but still pretty tactile and responsive no matter where you press it, which is also nice. The bottom here features the D-pad of the laptop, which you can see here is a moderate-sized D-pad. As with most newer Toshiba satellite laptops, it's about 3.2 inches diagonally and supports multi-touch gestures, so it can actually zoom in and out of web pages and scroll left and right without too much of an issue. It works pretty well in the web browsing and also some other applications that support multi-touch, of course, and it's pretty responsive. It's a traditional D-pad in the sense that it's very similar to some HP and Gateway offerings, but it's not the best in terms of it kind of accumulates a lot of dust and grit, especially fingerprints after you start using it, so it gets kind of dirty pretty fast and kind of greasy, but if you wipe it down, it should be pretty fine for you to use on a day-to-day usage. The bottom here features the click left and right keys, which are very similar to all Toshiba satellite laptops we've reviewed. They're rounded, so they are a little bit weak on the sides, but they're still pretty responsive on the insides, on the center here. So we're kind of on the fence here. I think it's better than some HP laptops with a one-clicker design, which I personally don't like because it's very stiff and hard to press. But with this, at least you have two different buttons, but it's not as sensitive as I would like it to be. On the side here, you have a little QR code, so if you want to learn more about this laptop from the manufacturer, you can scan your smartphone. I'm going to pause here for a second, and it works, again, pretty well. And then again, over here, you can see some more specs for the Windows 7 machine in general. Taking a look at the user interface, you will notice that Toshiba has loaded up this particular laptop with a few bloatware and a few extras compared to some of their other offerings out there. For example, if you get this from Best Buy, you have this Best Buy PC app that you can customize and take with you, but it kind of wants you to update every once in a while, which I think is a little bit annoying. But you can close it up as well. You also have Norton Security loaded up as well on the product, but it only is for 1 year, and afterwards you have to buy it for yourself, which is you can uninstall that program if you want to. Otherwise, a pretty clean install, not too many other issues going on. As far as battery life is concerned, it's a pretty good battery. It lasted us about 4 to 5 hours, again, on a single charge, which we do like. Wi-Fi reception is very strong, even if we are kind of 5 meters away from the router, it still manages to grasp a pretty fast reception, and we found that to be true when browsing the web, watching videos, and also interacting with the unit in general. So it's definitely nice for web browsing purposes. And again, the speakers are pretty good for watching back occasional videos with the DVD drive. Otherwise, again, not too many extras are included. We do have Microsoft Windows Office. Microsoft Office Word, 2010 edition, pre-included. So if you are a student wanting to purchase this laptop, you actually don't have to go out and buy the full suite from Microsoft for Office, which is nice. You can start typing out your words for your essays and your different documents immediately without having to, again, use OpenOffice or anything like that. And otherwise, you have a few games built in, but nothing too dramatic. A few applications built in here and there. Internet Explorer, of course, and some basic applications like Norton Security. Google Chrome is actually pre-included as well, which is pretty nice. And essentially that's it. You have some widgets that you can customize if you want to do that, and you can open up your widgets on the bottom of the page over there. So essentially that's it as far as performance is considered. Again, this is a pretty good laptop if you are, again, looking for something that's not too powerful in terms of you want it to do everything and play back games, play back too much multitasking, but for the basic user out there for occasional watching back streaming videos, and you want a pretty modern, up-to-date UI, but you don't want Windows 8, I still think that this is a good option to go with. Again, you press back the computer to take a look at the system properties. It will show you that pretty well. And again, the rating for a Microsoft Experience Index is a 3.2, so not too bad at all for a Intel Celeron processor. So if you are worried about that, it actually runs pretty fast because it has a 2.2 gigahertz dual-core experience, which is not bad at all. So overall, a pretty good experience if you are looking for something, again, that's inexpensive. It's a budget-oriented laptop, and Toshiba even recognizes that themselves. It's a budget for basic users out there, but it offers pretty good styling, a pretty good design, and it definitely goes head-to-head against some of the other offerings from other manufacturers, like the G56, and in some ways manages to beat those competitors by having a pretty good battery life, having a very good display without too many viewing angle issues, and also having a good build quality in general. So thanks for watching the video review here at osandvtxreviews.com. This has been the Toshiba Satellite 15.6-inch Windows 7 Home Premium C655 S5132 Intel laptop here at osvtxreviews.com, and also our other sites at OS Tech News.